Glittery shoes will snag and rip your wedding dress. Nobody tells you about this until you go for your wedding dress fitting. So listen up if you're a bride-to-be hunting for wedding dress shoes, because this video could save you time, money and stress. I'm Caroline Arthur, I'm a bespoke wedding dress designer dressmaker, and over the last 25 years I have seen glittery shoes wreak havoc on hundreds of wedding dresses. It can take months to find the perfect wedding shoes, but if you choose glittery ones, then when you take them to your dress fitting to have your hem adjusted, your dressmaker will probably break out into a cold sweat. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what the problem is, what to avoid and what to do about it if you do have glittery shoes and you find they're catching on your dress. This is an easy solution, you can do it yourself, it's not expensive, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Stay to the end because I'm also going to explain what to ask your dressmaker to further prevent catching, snagging and shredding of the fabric of your wedding dress on your glittery shoes. Now, some kind of glittery shoes are more catchy than others. Just run your hand over the surface of the shoe and you'll be able to feel whether these are kind of big, jagged, sharp chunks of glitter or whether actually it's quite smooth. So I'd recommend, if you find a pair of shoes that you love, then buy them, take them home and literally sweep the fabric of your dress over the surface of the shoe and see what happens. You can then decide either to take them back, get a refund, or exchange them for a plain pair of shoes which is not going to snag your fabric, or you can follow the tips I'm about to explain and then you can have your sparkly shoes and you will have a solution to make sure they're completely smooth and your fabric's not going to catch on them. Right, let me get a pair of glittery shoes and I will show you what we're actually dealing with. You see that? That catching and pulling? That's what's going to happen every single time your foot moves when you're walking around, going up the aisle and dancing. It literally tears the fabric and it makes a horrible noise. It also means you're a lot more likely to trip because the fabric is actually getting caught on the shoe. It's not that I would advise you not to choose glittery shoes, it's just that you need to understand the combination of glittery shoes and certain fabrics, for example crepe and satin, lace, tulle, delicate fabrics. They will tend to just stick together. But don't feel you've got to avoid certain wedding dress fabrics. Buy the dress that you love. It's just that when you choose your shoes, if you choose glitter, be prepared for the fact that you're going to have to take a couple of extra steps just to ensure that the fabric of your dress doesn't tear or snag or rip on the shoes. Now, different types of hem style can make this worse. This one, which is an overlocked hem, is particularly bad because the glitter isn't just catching on the fabric, it's actually catching on the threads of the hem itself. So you have two things working against you and your beautiful glittery shoes. One is the fabric and the other is the style of hem. We're going to deal with both of them, but let's start with the glitter. Now, the solution is to seal the glitter by adding a transparent layer of clear varnish over the top of the glitter. It will still look glittery, but it will feel smooth. Once the varnish is on there, the individual jagged edges of the glitter pieces can't catch on the fabric. It literally creates a smooth layer that sort of fills in the gaps between the sharp bits of glitter, and it creates this lovely smooth surface for your fabric to glide over the top of. Now, today I'm going to test two products for you. The first is called Angelus. It's Angelus High Gloss Forecoat. Now, I'll put a link in the description. This is something that people who customize shoes very often use. Angelus produce lots of different kind of products for lots of different purposes. So many customizers will use them to create designs on their shoes. In this instance, we're just using basically the top coat. They do a variety of them and we want the one which is waterproof and we want the one that's shiny. What's reassuring about this is it's kind of designed to be used on shoes. So you know it's going to be waterproof, it's going to be flexible, and it is probably going to work, but that's the first product we're trying. The other product is called Mod Podge. Now, this is a craft staple. Lots of crafters use it, and I phoned up a reputable craft store to say, what kind of Mod Podge do I need? Because actually they come in loads and loads of different versions. And I spoke to a lady there who told me what you really need for our purposes is you want something that's going to be completely clear. It's going to not reduce the shine of the glitter. It needs to be waterproof and it needs to be flexible. I will put a link in the description so you know which one I used, but this is the one that I was recommended to test. In both cases, I wanted to have the same criteria that you as a bride would have, and I've been listening to my brides-to-be who come with their glittery shoes and listening to their concerns. So the things that I think people worry about are things like it dulling the glitter of the shoes or changing the colour, or in some ways making the shoes look different to how they are. So that's one of the things I'm going to be looking out for. Another thing that I noticed online, I did a lot of research on both these products, and there were lots of reports of people finding that once you'd finished painting your layers over your shoes, it was tacky. So that was no good, because literally the fabric was still going to stick to the shoe, not because it was jagged, but now because it was tacky. But I would reassure you that in my experience, that was not the case with either product. However, there is a reason why many people find one of these products does end up feeling tacky. I just want to make sure that you don't skip that tip that an awful lot of people do, which means you end up ruining the surface of your wedding shoes. So the golden rule when using either of these products is thin coats, lots of thin layers. You're not trying to create some kind of thick soup that's going to go over the top of the shoes. We really do need your shoes to stay exactly as they are currently. We don't want them to look any different. We don't want them to look like they've got a chunky layer of varnish over the top. So it's very important to do thin layers. I'd recommend keeping a clean rag or some kitchen roll to hand so you can mop up any drips. You don't want loads of this varnish ending up on the sole of the shoe. And actually, as you're holding it in your hand and painting, it's very easy for it to sort of dribble down. Mod Podge, for example, is actually a glue. So if you get it on the sole of the shoe while you're painting and then you put the shoe down, your shoe is basically going to stick to the table. Okay, you will be able to get it off, but it's much better to just wipe off those little dribbles if they happen as you're going along. Now, the bit that people skip is letting each layer dry fully. Use your common sense. Have a feel of the shoes. If it still feels tacky, then it's not dry. So even though the bottle may say just let it dry for 1 to 2 hours, if it still feels tacky, then leave it overnight. Let it really dry before you put on the next coat. Now, when I did these shoes, it was really hot and sunny. It was very, very warm, and it was very dry. If you're in an environment which is much more humid or much cooler, it may be that the drying time varies. So just use your common sense. You will know, and you will be able to feel whether or not the shoe is really dry. Okay, so here's what I found. Both products, and by the way, neither of these products are sponsoring this video, both products did the job. I found if I had to say, I would say Mod Podge probably was slightly easier to use, only because when I painted it on, you can see from my demo that actually it's quite cloudy. Now, this cloudiness completely disappears when it dries, but it just means you can see exactly where you've painted. Whereas the Angelus, it was so clear that actually you just couldn't see where you just painted. Bear in mind the shoes are already quite sparkly and shiny, so the added shine of the liquid going on them, it was quite useful to be able to have something which was a little bit cloudy so I could see where I'd painted, and I didn't end up going over the same area over and over and ending up with a really thick layer. The other advantage of Mod Podge is that you don't lose the sparkle of the glitter. It's not so easy to see on camera, but in real life, when you look up close at the Angelus painted shoes, they're still shiny, but they're not quite as sparkly as they were before painting. Now, in both cases, I did 3 coats of varnish, 3 really thin layers, and I gave them plenty of time to dry. I just wanted to be 100% sure that the fabric would not snag. So once I'd done 1 layer, I let it dry and I tried sweeping the fabric over it. It still snagged. So I kept on going till I got to the point that the fabric just glided over the top of the shoe. One tip I would give you is just to make sure that when you paint the shoe, you paint all the way around the actual edge of the shoe. Because if you sort of miss this bit here, you'll find the toe is completely smooth, but actually the fabric catches on this bit. So whilst you don't want to go into the shoe and obviously drip everywhere, try and get it right to the edge, which is why a small paintbrush was really useful. Okay, so I promised at the beginning of the video that I would just explain about hems and the best style of hem to ask your dressmaker for. Because even with the sealed varnished shoes, which feel smooth, some hems can cause you more trouble than others. Now, I've been a dressmaker for a very long time, and usually when somebody brings me a dress that needs to be hemmed, then I will shorten the dress by cutting off the bit of fabric we don't need, and I will replace the hem of the dress in exactly the same style. So that could be a pin hem, which is a little folded over edge, it could be a thick hem, it could be a bag hem, there's all kinds of different hems. But I would usually replace exactly what had been there, with my intention being that the bride would end up with a dress that doesn't look like it's been altered. However, the dressmaker may actually be able to change the hem of your dress if the one that the dress comes with doesn't suit a glittery shoe. The most problematic hem, and this comes with a lot of dresses, is the overlocked hem. This is where the threads are exposed on the edge. Now, glitter just loves those threads. It grabs hold of them even more than it grabs hold of fabric. So it is possible to change that hem to a different style, and I would recommend something like a folded pin hem. So this really looks the same from the outside, but rather than there being those exposed threads, the fabric is just tucked up one more time, and then it has one line of stitching. So there's literally less threads to get hold of. But that is a good solution if you have an overlocked hem. Have it changed to a folded pin hem. The other option is horsehair braid. Now this is a kind of stiffened braid that all dressmakers are familiar with. You can just buy it from a haberdashery, and it's something that you can sew to the bottom of the inside of your fabric. So it literally creates a barrier between the fabric and the glittery shoe. Now it works on some kinds of fabrics and it works on some kind of styles of dress. So it might not be suitable for your style of dress, but if you've done the varnishing and the smoothing of the surface of your shoe using a product like Angelus or Mod Podge, then you should have solved most of the problem. But horsehair braid is something that can work, particularly on a very delicate fabric like tulle. And by the way, it's got nothing to do with horses. This is a kind of a synthetic. I mean, I'm guessing it was probably originally made of horsehair, but nowadays you just buy it as a synthetic tape. It comes in various different widths. Ask your dressmaker, they will know exactly what it is and advise you as to whether or not it's something that's worth trying to further reduce the risk of snagging and catching and shredding your dress. Now, before I started this, I actually rang up Jimmy Choo because a lot of my brides find they like to invest in a real designer pair of shoes for their wedding shoes because they want to be able to wear them afterwards and they want something really beautiful. So I went straight to the source and rang up customer services, but they said ultimately they couldn't recommend a product that you paint onto one of their shoes. No surprise there, because I guess from a liability point of view, they don't want to say that it's fine and then the customer goes and splodges on loads and loads of layers of a product and it ruins the shoe. The only thing they did say was that you could just add a piece of fabric in between the dress and the shoe, which, okay, doesn't sound very practical, but when you think about it, if it is a very delicate fabric, then it may be that if you just add that layer of horsehair braid, it will just be enough to keep the glitter away from the delicate fabric. So they weren't really able to give me any other solution, but at least you now know what the fix is in terms of adding a layer of varnish over the top of your shoes. And now these shoes are going straight back to the charity shop where I found them from, and hopefully somebody else will buy them and party away in them. So to summarise, the risk of glittery shoes damaging your dress is really not a big problem to fix. There is a solution. A few coats of Mod Podge or a similar product will be able to create that smooth layer over the top without getting rid of the glitter and the sparkle. Have a conversation with your dressmaker before you go for your fitting if you can, and just mention what your shoes are like. The only reason brides get caught out is because nobody mentions it, but now you know. So here's what I would love to know. Has your dressmaker or did your bridal shop warn you about glittery shoes, or did you find out the hard way when you just turned up at your wedding dress fitting? Tell me in the comments. I'm genuinely really curious to know how much this affects people. I see an awful lot of glittery shoes, but maybe that's just the brides in Surrey that come to me. If you've got a friend who's buying her wedding shoes, then please do send her this video. The glittery shoe dilemma may be something she's just not thought about, and this could be something really useful for her to know. And if you'd like more of this kind of insider designer knowledge and the stuff that nobody tells you, then please subscribe and I will see you in the next video.